Doodlebud here. I don't know why it is, but it seems my favorite pens in my collection are ones that are no longer made at all, or they're still made today, but I like the way they used to make them a lot better. Here are a couple samples before I bring out my latest pen. So this is a Pilot Vanishing Point, but this is the old style. I really like the old version much better than the modern ones. The modern ones are great, and you can get them, fairly easily. But I really like this one-piece nose clip that the older versions have, the faceted body, just the feel in the hand. I like the old ones way better. I like my Pelicans. Pelican still makes a great pen, and they have all sorts of nice nibs. They even have obliques, but I find the old obliques on the old fountain pens, the old Pelicans, are much, much better. This one is from around the 50s, something like that. This is the best oblique Pelican made. Then same goes for this pen here. This is an Aurora 88. They still make this model. They still make it with the gold cap, but not the whole body in gold. This is the Milrige version, and it also has a special nib, a long time. They don't make it full gold like this anymore, and I really think this is the best version they've ever made of that pen. I think it's lovely. And here is a Waterman Koran in the background. They still make this pen today. It's a lovely pen, all sorts of gorgeous colors, but they don't make it in this green anymore. I don't know why they stopped this color. I think this is the absolute best one. And the pen I'm going to show you today is not even made anymore, and I wish they did. You can probably guess what it is from the thumbnail. I'll reveal it. But I recently acquired, here it is here, my Rotring 600. I knew about this pen, and I thought about it for a long time, and I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. Then I forgot about it, and then for some reason it popped on my radar again, and I decided I really want to pick one of these up. So I've had this now for, it's been 3 weeks, maybe it's been a month, something like that. I've been hunting for a while. I lost several auctions, and I just sat, waiting to find the right deal, the right pen in the right condition with the right nib. That was the important part. And so I finally found one that I thought, this is a good price, it's a good condition. Let's pull the trigger, and I have not looked back. This is immediately going to one of my top favorite pens. So let me tell you all about it, how I like it, and let's show you how this thing performs. Ultra fast history on Rotring. German company. Rotring means red ring. That's why they got the red ring on there. Company has been sold. Production is now in Japan, and are more than suited to still produce super quality writing instruments. You want to learn more? Go on Google. Up until acquiring one of these pens, I always thought it was made from aluminum. Just the look of it and the finish on it, I thought this was an aluminum pen. It's a brass body pen. It definitely has some heft to it. How much heft exactly? Well, with the cap on, converter in, about 41.5 grams. Pop the cap off, and you got about 27. Something I really like about these pens is the knurling that you have here on the ends of the pen, and also on the grip section. A cool thing with it, because they have this on their pencils. I think it's the Rotring 800 is the pencil. I can't remember, but I think it's something like that. You can move this to change the type of lead that you have inside of the pencils. I guess it's really graphite, but anyways, we still call it lead. So there are all sorts of nib options that these pens came with. So that is super cool that you could just rotate it around and put it to what you got. Mine's on the F because it has a fine point nib. I was very tempted. As you can see along here, we have some obliques. I came across an oblique medium and an oblique broad that was up on the chopping block there for the auctions. And I just thought, I have a lot of obliques, and a pen like this, this has that classic engineering or architect drafting style, and typically you're not going for that type of nib point on those pens. And even how I want to use it, I want to go with either an extra fine or a fine, so I went with a fine. You can get them with gold nibs. This just has a regular steel nib, a little bit of a lammy nib style shape to it, and it's a lovely writer. So stainless steel nib, no breather hole, nothing really as far as markings. We have a little F there on the side. But overall, the aesthetics, I think this is really great. Unfortunately, not made anymore. And, I guess maybe fountain pens came out of style, so they stopped making it. This would be one definitely to bring back, I think. Or at least if it's not going to be them, which it probably won't be. I would not be offended whatsoever if Mahjong came out with a version inspired by this pen nonetheless. and made it more available again. I wouldn't be angry if they did that. We have an O-ring down here. This is, I believe, their main purpose, well, maybe aesthetics, but also when you go to post the pen. I don't know if you can see there, but we got some cracking going on with the O-ring. It's an older pen, so it's got a few splits in there. So yeah, that will have to be replaced. When I eventually do replace the O-ring, I'll do a quick little short to let people know the O-ring size. A nice clip, very functional. As you can see, just fits on like so. So I guess you could pop that off if you want to. I'm leaving mine on, and it's a nice little springiness. Very simple little sheet metal clip there. It's got the Rotring logo stamped into there as well. Slip cap, and I just like how you set it down. Like, it makes a lot of sense, especially, and that's why it's really good for that type of stuff. Like old if drafting tables, it would be a tilted angled table. You could set this down and it's going to stay there. It's not going to roll away on you. So that's quite nice. It's just, yeah, I don't know why it took me so long to get this pen. This is absolutely right up my alley. But there we go. And then we got the knurling here on the grip. Nice grippiness. A lot of times metal sections can be a little bit slick for people. That knurling's nice. Not too brash, but just the right amount, not too slick. You spin it off here, and then you got yourself, you can do your cartridges or a converter. When I got mine, this is the included converter. Don't know if it's original, but it sort of looks like it is. And that's the story with this one. My initial impression when I got the pen was I really liked the looks of it. It was heavier than I thought because I didn't really do a bunch of research as far as what material it was made from. I just liked the looks of it, thought it was aluminum. But also I thought it was a touch a little thinner than I was anticipating. But I have since gotten used to it. And my desire for this to be a little bit thicker, and maybe if it was a little bit girthier of a thicker version would be nice, but I've gotten over that and it's quite comfortable. If you're someone who must post their pens, this one, I mean, it posts. You do have to put some good force on it to get past that O-ring, but it does make it quite long. And then just due to the weight of the cap, it is significantly back heavy. So if you have to post your pens, you might have a little trouble doing it with it. It is nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. It probably wears down that O-ring prematurely because it is a fairly, stiff fit to get on there. But when I've been using it, I haven't been posting it whatsoever. So it's fairly comfortable. If it was any smaller, I would, I'd be wanting to post it, but I can get away with it on this one. Just long enough, just thick enough, and it's comfortable in my hand. Always tough to get the right lighting, but we do have a cap liner that's down in there. And so far, I've had zero issues with this pen sealing and the nib drying out. Again, that was something I was a little bit concerned about. But the fact, it's a German-made pen, as far as the design and engineering that went into it, I figured that surely they thought about sealing the cap nicely. And I'm happy to report I've had zero issues. I was hoping for a little more of a click. There is no click or auditory sound when you close it. I mean, a little bit just from the metal on metal, but no satisfying click sound that you get. But the fact that it doesn't have a click sound doesn't really detract from the pen. It does line up. You can see we have a hexagonal design. We got 6 sides to it. And on here, on this model, now the models have changed over time. Some folks will know all the history of all the models and all the slight changes and stuff like that as well. Feel free to go search around the internet and learn all about it, or someone in the comments might want to spend 15 minutes writing a massive comment. But this one here has these little notches to help line everything up with what's inside the pen there. So that way, when you put it on, everything is all nice and lined up. Nice little chamfers there on the corner. So yeah, everything's really, really nice. The comparison pens for today is a Lamy LX, Lamy 2000. Now I got the Rotring 600 in the middle, a Pelican 361, another cool pen that's no longer made, and then the Narwhal Eclipse. Here we are with the caps off, so you can see a little bit longer than the Lamy 2000, so it's a nice comfortable size. And if you're wondering to get more details on this particular Pelican, of course, I've done a video, so check out my channel. Let's now talk physical dimensions. Of course, pretty much spot on 140. In writing mode, about 125.3. Top of the knurling, about 9.4, with about a 1mm taper ending at 8.4 at the end of the knurled section. It's about 25.5 millimeters long. It took me a little while to decide what color ink I should put into this pen. Finally, I decided on Graphon Faber-Castell Carbon Black. I've been using that ever since I got the pen, and I've been enjoying it a bunch. I'll do the writing sample on Muji paper. Before I do that, again, I got this secondhand, purchased this on eBay. I've had several requests of where I buy my pens. I'm going to do a video on how I purchased used pens, secondhand pens, and where I find them and what I try to do to ensure I get a pretty good pen. You can never be 100% certain, but I get a lot of people emailing me or messaging me or asking me in the comments, so I'm going to do a video on that very soon. When I got the pen, tough to show you here, but anyways, the nib was out a little bit, had some canyoning to it, and the gap was off. So it took maybe, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. A little bit of tweaking, didn't have to remove the nib. It is a very stiff nib though. But it took a little bit of tweaking, and yeah, now everything is aligned perfectly. I have zero issues. I have thoroughly been enjoying writing with this pen, especially printing with it. I do a lot of printing with my work, doing notes and stuff like that, drawing things out. And I have to say, this one just, yeah, it feels very precise, as I said right here. I can just do little neat graphs or drawings or just client notes, meeting notes, whatever it is. I don't know what, I just keep going for this pen. I like the balance. I like the feel. I like the look. I like how I can just set it down. It's not going to roll away. I really like the pen overall. The nib really has no flex. Like, I pushed way harder than you should, as hard as I'm willing to on there. And, you get a teeny little, just essentially a slightly thicker and darker line. So if you want, a writer with some nice flex and bounce to it, that is not this. I wouldn't expect them to want to have a nib like that on a pen like this. It's designed really, it just looks like it's an architect's, designer's, engineer's style pen. So with that type of work, you don't want a flexy style nib. You want a precise line to be very consistent and always produce the same line all the time. And that's how this nib is. It's a fairly firm nib, but it's not scratchy. It's, it doesn't have bounce to it, but it's going to give you exactly the line that you're looking for. So I do appreciate that. It's very consistent, very precise, and it performs extremely well. It has not hard started at all. When I got it, it was a bit scratchy. It was missing a little bit. That's because the nib was out of touch. But I spent a few minutes there and got it exactly to where it should be. So yeah, once this thing was up and running, I tell you, it's going to keep on running, and I'm very happy with it. Sadly, this is no longer made. It would be great if they brought this back. They probably won't. So I'm going to throw it out there. Maybe some other company will. I think Mahjong would be the company to do it. They've done it with several other pens. Their V60 to replicate the OMOS 360. They did a fantastic job on that pen along with others. Even their more recent Mahjong B25 to go after the Parker P25. I don't feel so bad when a company makes a pen that's no longer made. So Mahjong, if you happen to watch this video, I don't know, just throwing it out there at you. This is a fantastic pen, and this would be something really cool to bring back. Anyways, I'd love to hear from you down there in the comments. If you have one of these, been thinking one of these, I'd love to hear from you. And also, what are some of your favorite pens that just don't exist anymore, or they don't make them like they used to. You like the old models more, or just flat out like this when it's not made. Let me know down there below. If you like the video, thumbs up as always, subscribe, potentially join. And if you subscribe to the channel, we'll catch you next time.